Shio again. Shio. So, last hour we covered all the my body parts, okay? Now, this should be getting fairly easy to switch from talking about me to talking about you and he, she, or it, or whoever, right? So, if Zishkoli I hate holidays again. Is my head. How am I going to change that to your head? Close. Now remember, if we are conjugating, there you go. If we're conjugating, 9 times out of 10, whatever is in that spot is going to follow the conjugation the rest of the way down, right? So it'll go from Zishkoli to, or Hishkoli, right? What happened here? My tooth. Ah, is it Gondot? What is it? Zindogum, right? Zindogum. And Day Zindogum. Okay, we'll get that done when we're working on it. Okay, so again, all we're changing is those pronominal prefixes from here on out, right? So Hishkoli becomes your head. That is not it. Girls. Yep, girls, you gotta go sit down somewhere. No. So, we've got Z, he, ah, or ga, right? Ah or ga. Well, what sounds better? Take it to that sound test, right? Is it ashkol or goshkol? What is it? His head. Ashkol. Ashkoli. Okay? This switching back and forth between phonetics and syllables kind of messing with my nose. So, same thing for the rest of them, right? So, we can go from here on out. I'm just going to leave this kind of as an example, but I'm going to put the syllabary out to the side, okay? So, we go from my head, then where do we go? My neck, right? Zany, right? Man, I came out with this. So, who comes next? Yours, right? How are we getting there? Uh-huh. And then? Close. Gaia. Uh-huh. Is it Gaia thing? Gaia thing. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself next week, I promise. I'm pretty sure it's Gaia thing. Now, sometimes those get a little funky and we can't always guess right off the bat, and we just have to be corrected, which is, I'm fine with now. You know, if you get corrected, just take it and run with it, you know? So, Zia Zany, Hia Zany, Gaia Zany. Okay? So, who's this Hia Zany? Yours, right? Yours. And then Gaia Zany, right? Okay. Are you good with these? The syllables?
Oh,
Okay, we'll get you there. We can switch back to the phonetics, that's fine. That might be good homework. Okay, so we've got down to the neck, right? Then we did the face. Look at me. I just said we were switching to phonetics, and here I go again. Okay. Let me make it easier for you guys. Aguacaton or aguacaton, right? Aguacaton. The whole face. Aguacaton. How do we make it his or yours? Well, we've switched sets now, right? It's not Z, he, or ga. Now we're dealing with agua, za, and u. So, your face zakatan, and then his face ukatan. Ukatan. So, aguacatan, zakatan, ukatan. There you go. And then, Zictoli, right? Zictoli. My one eye. How am I going to get to yours? Nah, remember we're on set A, Z, Zictoli, then Hictoli. And then, not ook, octol, octoli, or goctol, one of those two. No. Goctol. Goctoli. Yeah. Goctoli. Because I had to think about that. Don't quote me on that. It's been a minute. So, Zictol, Hictol, Goctol. Or Octol. It's one of those two. I'll correct myself next week though. I need to study, y'all. So, again, how do we get it to two of them? Right? Two of them. D, right? When we start pluralizing, especially with the body parts, right? It's real easy to kind of get like, oh my God, what's happening? But if we're pluralizing, if you have two on your body, we use a D-I, D, okay? If you have more than two, we use day. Does that make sense? So, instead of Zictol, D-Zictoli, right? D-Zictoli. So, my two eyes. So, what's going to happen when we have a da and a he? This is where it is. The T, exactly. I'm glad you remember that. So, Teetoli. And then, whoa. Wrong button. Digaktol. Digaktoli. Digaktoli. Alright? Now, again, don't quote me on that, but I'm like 85% sure that that's correct. Doheli. Not yet? Okay, that's fine. So, Digaktoli. It would be his two eyes or her two eyes. Yeah, so if you see it underlined like that, that means that we've dropped that vowel sound. And 9 times out of 10, when you drop a ga to a g, it turns into a k. Digaktoli. Digaktoli. Does that make sense? Cool. Easy breezy. So, again, what happened here? We have that D plus a he, right? That's what happened. That's why it's a T. I don't know why that happens, but they make really weird babies, and there it is. So if you want to write that formula down, that'll help you out a lot, okay? So, what was next? Ziyan Sholi. Ziyan Sholi, Ziyan Sholi, Ziyan Sholi, right? My nose. What if I have to tell you about your nose? Now this one's going to throw you for a loop just a little bit, okay? Kayan Sholi. Kayan Sholi. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's what it do. I think that's another one of those things that's kind of just lost to time. We won't really ever know why words work the way they do, but Kayan Sholi is his or her nose. Okay? So, Ziyan Sholi, Hiyan Sholi, Kayan Sholi. There you go. Alright, what was next? Ziholi. 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 Or Zihol. Right? That's my mouth. How am I going to make it yours? He holy. He holy.
That should be his instead of no.
Yeah. And then, what do you think? This one doesn't have a ga. I'll give you that hint. Or a ka. So, wait. Z, he, ah. Ah. Ah, holy. Ah, holy. So, when I was learning this one, I had to remember there's a hole in someone's head, right? It's the big hole. Z holy is mine. He holy is yours. Ah holy is his. There's a hole in his head. Okay? Alright. So, one more time. Z shkoli. He shkoli. Ah shkoli. Zia zani. Hiya zani. Gaya zani. Aguakatan. Aguakatan. Zakatan. Ukatan. Ziktoli. Hiktoli. Gaktoli. Diziktoli. Tiktoli. Digaktoli. Ziyan Sholi. Hiyan Sholi. Kayan Sholi. Ziholi. He holy. Ah holy. We good? Okay. Did you get your picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Then where did we go? Your ear. Z-Lane. Right? Mine one here. Now, we'll go to yours. He-Lane. That's it. He-Lane. And then Ga-Lane. So, trouble wash. Z-Lane. He-Lane. Ga-Lane. Okay. How am I going to pluralize that? Easy lady. That's exactly right. Now, know what we know now. How am I going to pluralize your 2 ears? T-Lane, right? T-Lane. Does that B and that H make a T sound? I'm not sure why. Again, I don't know why, but that's just something we have to accept sometimes. So, how am I going to get to his 2 ears? Digalane. Digalane. Then where do we go? Shoulder? Oh, chin. Do you gaining? Okay. Do you gaining? Ha! We're learning together tonight. I remembered it, just barely though. Okay, so do you gaining? Remember, that's the whole thing, the thing that moves on your head. This thing, right? This thing. So it can be my chin or my jaw. So, ZU gaining. What's this one? And then value gaining. Value gaining. All right. Then we moved on to shoulders, right? Oh, okay. Xeno wool, right? Xeno wool. One. Now, how do I take it to yours? He no wool. And then Ghana wool. So, Xena wool, Hina wool. So, Xena wool, Hina wool, Ghana wool. Just the one. How do I pluralize? I'll switch back to the Xena wool. Exactly. Easy oil. Now how am I going to take it to yours? Tina wool. Tina wool, right? Remember that D plus that H makes a T sound. I don't know why. Tina wool. And then Digana wool. Digana wool. All right. Then we went on to arms, correct? Xenogamy. Xenogamy. How am I gonna take it to yours? Uh-huh. Henogamy. And then gonogamy. Uh-huh. All right. How do I take it to the plural? Now I'm talking about my two arms. Uh-huh. Xenogamy. Mm-hmm. Kenogamy. And then degonogamy. Yes. All right. Let's stop there and take a practice. So, go use TR. Chogo wash. Z-Laney. Uh-huh. Z-Laney. Then? D-Z-Laney. Sorry. So, Z-Laney, D-Z-Laney. Let's go to yours. He-Laney, He-Laney, T-Laney. T-Laney, right? And then, Ga-Laney, D-Ga-Laney. All right. We good there? Okay. Now, do you gaining? Do you gaining? He you gaining? He you gaining? Ga you gaining? Ga you gaining? All right. And again, don't quote me on that one. I'll figure it out for sure. All right. So, Xenowol, Henowol, Gonowol. All right. So, D-Xenowol, Tenowol, Egonowol. One. Xenogamy, Henogamy, Gonogamy. D-Xenogamy, Tenogamy, Degonogamy. All right. Sounds good so far. Then we went to, did we go to elbow there? We did? Okay. Z-Kushkani, right? Chogosh. Yeah, Z-Kushkani. Z-Kushkani. Now remember, when you're writing your syllabary, Z stays the same, right? Z, you're going to use a goo there, and I like to put a period behind it, so I know to change the sound. Z-Kushkani. Alright, Z-Kushkani. What was the other one that sounded really similar to that? Your hip. Your hip. Z-Kushkani. Yeah. Okay. So, I got off there. So, if Z-Kushkani is my hobo, how am I going to talk about yours? He. Mm-hmm. He Kushkani. And then Ga Kushkani, or I'm going to look that one up too. I think it's A Kushkani or Ga Kushkani. I'd say A Kushkani too. We'll keep it A Kushkani for now, but again, I'll do some studying this weekend and how quickly, if we don't use it, we lose it, right? Yeah. So, I think it's A Kushkani, myself. So, yes. What did you say? Sorry. D on the R, sometimes it just swallows up the whole R. Sometimes. Or, every now and then, it becomes a V. Dunkushtan. I think that's what's gonna happen. Myself. But again, I'll make sure to look that up. If I have any fluent speakers that are watching, help me out here.
So, so if it, what you're talking about, the ball joints,
Yeah.
and then, like, for me, for the him and her,
Mhm.
I have, Connie, and would you use it as Connie on that one too? Or Kaku, Amy?
Kaku scanning? I'm wondering about that. It might just be. It might just be. Because again, it's been a hot minute since I've actually gone over this stuff for myself. So I need to study up on it like pretty heavily for next time. But we'll try it. We'll try it just as we'll touch the base there and see. Because again, if you don't use it, you lose it, and how quickly you can lose it. Like it's blowing my mind right now that I'm having such a hard time with this. So, DZ Kushkani. How am I gonna say yours? Mm-hmm. So, if we're sticking with Kakushkani, which I don't know if that sounds right either. We'll see. We'll see.
Like she was saying, you said that ball joints high or ka.
See?
And ball joints low or ku.
Yeah,
So why do?
that's for the elbows though. But I'm talking about like getting it to the people that we're talking about. So we're talking about me versus you versus he or she, right? So that's where I'm having the trouble getting to the he or she with this one in particular. Because
Can I get like the third person is like ka.
yeah. So like your third person, it can be, well, like, you know, you have your agizabu, right? You have ziti, we say ah or ga. Sometimes it can be ka too. So I'm wondering if that's what's happening. And you think that's what's happening there?
That's what I think.
Okay. So if that's the case, pluralization is going to be easy then. Because I'm sitting here racking my brain like, why would it be ah kushkani if we're going to pluralize it? But to pluralize the kash kushkani, it's just dika. And remember when we were talking about the ball joint thing, I did the K in the middle as the reference point for that. So, well, sounds right. Dika kushkani. What do you think?
I'm wrong. I can't read it in phonetic.
Oh yeah, I know.
I have to put it in syllabary, so it takes me a minute to read what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get there. Kushkani. You want me to just pop it up here on the board? I can. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. Kakushkani. Yeah. I'll talk to some speakers and, because I'm actually pretty disappointed with them. Because I've let this go so far without me like actually studying up on it some more. But anyway, here we go. We got all good here? Okay, so let's run through them one more time. So we'll start from here. Deed Zenawal, Tinawal, Deganawal, Zenogani, Hinogani, Ganogani. All right. Deed Zenogani, Hinogani, Deganogani, Zekushkani, Hikushkani. We'll stick with Kakushkani. All right. Deed Zekushkani, Tikushkani, Dekakushkani. And again, don't quote me on that. I will go and look. Okay? All right. So, each picture. How much time is that? 20 minutes. Okay. So, let's do just a few more for tonight on the body parts as far as like conjugating those. And then I kind of want to work on something else with you guys real quick too. So, we made it to elbows? Elbows, yes. Okay. So, hand was next. Alright. Agwoyeni. 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 So, now we're back in set B. So, how are we going to pluralize, or not pluralize, I'm sorry. How are we going to conjugate that out? How do I get it from my hand to your hand? Good. Zoyang. Zoyang. Now, let me explain rhyme real quick. Just real quick, okay? I know you think it's going to do something and it doesn't do it, right? So, this right here, the O-yang, that's the hand part of the word. So that is not going to change, okay? That part doesn't change. So, remember how I was talking to you about when conjugation like this happens, that AGW, right there, that's your person marker. The agw, right? Agw. That's your person marker. So, in this case, your person marker is only the TS, right? Because we can hook it right up to that vowel and be super happy. Does that make sense? So, here is your person marker. There's your root for hand. That make sense? So, agwoyang, zoyang. Does that make sense? Zoyang. Now, what's going to happen next? If we still need that, oyang, that's where the W pops in. That's where the W pops in, okay? So, here's what happens. Uwoyang. Uwoyang. Because we still have to have the O, but we also still have to have the U, right? So, sometimes when that happens, a little W pops in there to separate those two out. Because we don't like vowels with vowels, right? Vowels and vowels, they don't mix most of the time. So something funky starts to happen every now and then. This is one of those times. So, ooh, whoa, yay, nay. That's what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the stickball games and how they say, whoa, yay, right? Whoa, yay. That comes from this word right here. Ooh, whoa, yay. Ooh, whoa, yay. They were talking about he touched it with his hand, right? Does that make sense? So, that's where that whoa, yay came from. How do we stop? So, whoa, yay, zo, yay, ooh, whoa, yay. Make sense? We good? Okay. So, there's your hand word. And then, the yay should not be, right? So, what wash? Let me write that first. What's up? Oh, pluralize. I didn't pluralize. My bad. That was my bad. I know. Okay, so. Diguoyen, right? So, now we're talking about both of them, right? So, we know we're in set B. Agiza-u, agwaza-u, right? What's going to happen when we pluralize this one? Di-za-wo-yen. Not di, yeah. Di-zo-yen, my bad. Di-zo-yen. Di-zo-yen. Your two hands. Now, what's going to happen here? Zu-wo-yen. Something funky happens there. Zu-wo-yen. Now, I'm not entirely 100% sure on why that happens right there, but sometimes it just does. And again, that's probably one of those things that I'm never going to get an answer for, like, why that word works that way, but here I am. How did I get to be a teacher? I don't even know. What is my life even? So, anyway, now we get to the tingers, right? So, Shawwa Uwash, Ziye Shadani. Ziye Shadani. My finger. Remember, if it has yay on it, it's in the hands because we say yay, right? Yay. Our spirit fingers. Boom. So, how am I going to do yours? He yeshadam. And hers? Ah yeshadam. Where am I saying God yeshadam? I think it's God yesterday. God yesterday. We'll stick with God. Sorry. We'll stick with that one just in case. But again, like I said, I'm going to go study up on these because I need it, obviously. But we'll get there. So, Zige Shadam. Shawwa Uwash, Agwazali, right? Agwazali. Doharishko Zadzali. Doharishko Zadzali. Yours. He Yeshadam. No? Ga Yeshadam. Or Ka Yeshadam. It's one of those two. It's one of those two. So, how am I going to pluralize that then? Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm blowing my own mind. It's not D, right? It's day, right? So we went from two, remember, D, Z call, now we go day, Z, A, Shada. If you have more than two, we use the day. Day, Z, A, Shada.
With busy pay?
Nope. You're gonna be mad, because I was mad when I learned this too. So, this is one of those outliers. I mean, it really truly is an outlier. Sometimes it is just day, he. Day, he. Now, I think it's not D, he, it's day, he. We have to know that there's multiple more than ones, right? You have two or more, day, he, not te, he. Or te, yeshina, right? I think this is just my opinion and what I've studied. I think the day is more important, that you know that it's more than one than the he, like it's separate somehow. Like T, you know that there's two, and that's it, there's two, right? So, if I'm saying day, he, there's multiple, but they're yours. Now, am I talking about multiple of the same thing, or am I talking about multiple of different things? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure how that works, or why it works the way it works, but this one, day, he. Day, he, day, she done. That was a long way to say that it does this for whatever reason. So, day Z Yeshana, day he Yeshana. And then, we'll stick with this. Day Ga Yeshana. Day Ga Yeshana. So, multiple his or hers. Okay? We'll stick with that for now until I know for sure. When I know for sure, I'll get you back. Okay? So, how much time we got left?
15.
Heck, 15 minutes. We'll get there. Okay. So, we've come down to the fingers. Where did we go from there? Back. Zishohi. Zishohi. Zishohi, right? Remember, I said Zishohi because it's so hard to reach, right? Zishohi. My back. How am I going to say yours? He. He shohi. And his or hers. Ah shohi. Or ga shohi. Which one sounds better to you? Ah shohi. Uh-huh. Ah shohi. And again, if I'm completely in the dark on these third people, I will go and look and I will make sure we get them right next week. Absolutely. Okay. Because obviously I'm out of practice. Just a little bit. So, Z shohi, he shohi, gosh, or ah shohi, my bad. Ah shohi. Okay. Then we went to the hips, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, Z koshkani. So, Z koshkani. How do we say yours? He koshkani. And then Akashkani. Or Gakashkani. It's one of those two. I'm scared. You think it does that caw thing again? I don't know either. We'll stick with gaw. We'll stick with gaw for now. Uh-huh.
It sounds.
Gaw koshkani. I know, it sounds funky. It doesn't flow as well. Akoshkani, gaw koshkani. Again, this is what we'll put on the board for now. I will look into it, so don't quote me on it. I'm gonna get it, okay? So, I need to work on my third peoples. Yes. Yeah, the other one was the coup up here, right, on your elbow. Yeah. So, you know what? We'll stop right there for a minute. So, we got a few more minutes. So, real quick, we started with a Agwoyani, Zoyani, Uwoyani, no, Digwoyani, Dizoyani, Dizoyani, and Zuwoyani, Zuwoyani, Ziyeshada, Hiyeshada, Gayeshada, Deziyeshada, Dehiyeshada, Degayeshada, Zishohi, Hishohi, Ashohi, Zikashkani, oh, Hikashkani, and we'll stick with Gabkashkani for now. Okay, just for now. So, after that, we've gone over a lot of body parts tonight, right? So, now, I want to kind of focus in on how those body parts can affect us, right? So, I'm getting a little older, right? I'm starting to feel stuff that I should have probably taken care of when I was younger and rolling people around and lifting people up. So, my knees hurt, sometimes my shoulders hurt, my neck definitely hurts. But how do I talk about that, right? And more importantly, how do I ask you if I want to come and help you about that, right?
You only have 5 minutes left to go through all of this, so we're gonna really be able to do much.
We'll just go over the hurting. We'll go over the hurting word,
Okay.
okay? We'll do the hurting word. So, now, how do I say that, right? Well, this one that I'm getting ready to teach you, it's a catch-all, right? It's not body part specific, it's a catch-all. Keep that in mind. Because one day you're going to come up on a speaker and they're going to say, that's not how I say it like this. And they're going to give you the, my arm hurts, right? Versus the, my leg hurts. Versus the, my head hurts, right? This one is a catch-all for it is hurting me, okay? It is hurting me. So, now, having said that, if I want to say, my head is hurting me, I'm going to say, Zishkoli, and then this is the word, Agwehistane. 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 And I'm sure that there's a ha at the end of that. Agwehistane ha for right now. That'll be your long form if that's there and I'm not tripping right now. So, again, I might be, but I'm pretty sure there's a ha at the end of that. I've just been around it so long, I've always heard Agwehistane, right? So this is, it is hurting me. And it's a catch-all. Like a blanket term almost, okay? So, now we can start playing with that a little bit. So, Zishkoli Agwehistane. Now that's not I have a headache. I have a headache is akshgugwadi, right? There's a different word for that. This is like when you bump your head on something or you like, you know, I don't know, stand up too fast or something. Something has happened to the actual physical head and it hurts now, okay? Does that make sense? So, how am I going to say my hand is hurting me? Agwoyane. Aguehistane. Now remember, I'm doing this really, really exaggerated because that sta has a little bit of a tone change to it, right? There's a little bit of an inflection there. So, Aguehistane. Aguehistane. Okay? Make it big when you're learning. Make it big. That way, you know, we're not losing those little things, right? So, Aguehistane. You can just barely hear it when I'm saying it like, you know, real talk, Aguehistane. But it's there. So, when you're learning, when you're teaching, Aguehistane. Okay? So, how am I going to take that from talking about me to talking about you now? What? Now we switched it. We've switched sets now, right? So we're talking about Agi Awa or Zay. Remember that Ahistane, that's your root. The A, it starts with the A. So now it's like that. There's your person marker, and the Ahistane is the hurting word. I'm sure there's a ha in there. If there's not, I'll correct that later. So, Aguehistane, Zahistane. I cannot spell. Yep, Zahistane. So, I can come up to you and I ask, do you sti or do you Zahistane? Do you Zahistane? What's hurting you? And you can be like, well, Dina Wool, Wahistane. Does that make sense? Now, how are we going to talk about he or she or it? Ooh, what? Ooh, Wahistane. There we go. Yep, Uwehistane. Uwehistane. Okay? That's hurting him or her, okay? And then, one more word I want you to get, because I know for sure that this one is like a thing, okay? So, Akshkukwadi. Akshkukwadi. Okay? This one, I have a headache. Akshkukwadi. Akshkukwadi. Okay? So, where do we leave off? Akshkukwadi. So, let's practice with those a little bit. Aguehistane. Zahistane. Uwehistane. Now let Akshkukwadi. Akshkukwadi. There you go. There you go. Now it's not Akshkukwadi, right? Akshkukwadi. Akshkukwadi. All right. I think we're at the end of time now, right? All righty. There we go.
6 minutes. No.
Yeah. Hold on. See you next week.